Good morning. Buried in mud. Dangerous mudslides in Southern California force families to flee their homes. The storms may be over for now, but the danger from 7 straight days of rain could last for weeks. Aloha. President Obama arrives in Hawaii early this morning after a string of successes in the lame duck Congress. Can the president carry that momentum into his next 2 years in office? And suddenly silent, one of the NFL's most brash and outspoken coaches put in the hot seat.
This is a personal matter, and I hope you can respect the fact that I wish not to discuss it.
As he's questioned about some personal videos that have become the talk of the internet today, Thursday, December 23rd, 2010.
From NBC News, this is Today with Matt Lauer and Meredith Vieira. Live from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza.
And good morning. Welcome to Today on a Thursday morning. I'm Matt Lauer.
And I'm Amy Robach in for Meredith Vieira this morning. And after a week of relentless rain, residents in Southern California will finally get a break today.
Yeah, they've had enough after a devastating storm that left some neighborhoods looking like war zones. In one town, more than 30 homes were covered in a blanket of mud. We're going to talk to a woman whose family has now lost everything just days before Christmas. We'll talk to that woman straight ahead.
Also, the Spider-Man controversy is heating up on Broadway. Another performance was canceled last night amid calls from critics to cancel the show altogether. How do the stars of the musical feel about it? We will hear from them this morning.
But we want to begin on a Thursday morning with a cleanup out west after 7 straight days of rain. NBC's Miguel Almaguer is in Highland, California. It's about 60 miles to the east of Los Angeles. Miguel, good morning to you.
Matt, good morning. 24 hours ago, Christmas trees were up in this neighborhood. Residents were ready for the holiday weekend. Now, dozens of homes in this neighborhood look like this. This is a patio cover, some 12 feet high. It was hit by a wall of surging mud. Many say it's a miracle that everybody made it out alive.
A blanket of mud, a community buried in debris.
I've just never seen anything like this.
In Highland, California, the flash flooding began when a nearby river spilled into town. First, a stream of water, then a sea of mud. Brian Zabruski ran.
Just came straight down the hill like a liquid hill.
More than 30 homes were damaged, 100 people rescued. Karen Hernandez narrowly escaped with her own life. She used an emergency ladder just to get out of her own house.
The whole backyard was flooded, and by the time I knew it, I had a roaring river in my living room, all to the downstairs. I got nothing left, nothing.
After a week of wet weather, California was hit with a knockout punch Wednesday. In Orange County, neighbors couldn't stop the hills from giving way. Roads became rivers, rising water turned to solid mud. In Laguna Beach, 30 rescues. Jeremy Hess's home was swamped with 4 feet of water. His grandmother got out through a window.
We went up to our upstairs neighbor and took shelter with them for a while. It was pretty scary.
In Los Angeles, a half year's worth of rain in a single week. Amtrak from LA to San Diego was shut down. Roads impassable. 6 counties remain under a state of emergency. Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego is an island. 47 people at a nearby hotel were rescued when a creek burst its banks. All across the West, raging rivers caused problems. In Littlefield, Arizona, this home teetered on the edge, the property already a total loss. In Utah, the St. George River swallowed equipment and destroyed a bridge. But back in Highland, the water is gone, the damage is done. Many here won't be coming home for Christmas.
The damage in this neighborhood alone is going to be in the millions. The storm has moved on, but it's going to take weeks, if not months, to clean up this mess. Back to you.
Miguel Almaguer, thank you. Karen Hernandez, the woman who made that quick escape from her second-story window, is with us now. And Karen, good morning.
Good morning.
I know this all happened around 4:30 in the morning. You, your son, your daughter were all asleep. Tell us what happened next. What did you see? What did you hear?
Well, I woke up at 4:30 thinking somebody was trying to break into my back door, so I ran downstairs to the patio door and flung it open, and I just seen water coming as fast as it could, and the kids ran downstairs with me. We tried to grab as much as we could, but it only took seconds before my living room was a roaring river. We were lucky to have to get out the way we did.
Yeah, and you got out with an emergency ladder you had set up for a fire. I have to ask, did you ever imagine having to use it, and especially under those conditions?
No, we never did. We just kept it for purely emergency braces, but this was an emergency. We needed to get out. We needed to get out fast.
And you can see by the pictures
the
we're
water
looking at.
was rising fast.
Right. You lived in that house for 18 years. Once the mud settled and you were able to get a look inside your house, can you tell us what it was like for you to see your home and your belongings in that condition?
It's devastating. We have nothing left. That's all we have. And now we don't even have flood insurance, so we typically got nothing.
And I know that money has been tight for your family this year, Karen. You just had gotten all of your Christmas presents under the Christmas tree. How do you plan on trying to reclaim part of the holidays? What's your way forward at this point?
We don't have anything. I don't have anything planned. We have nothing. We scraped up what we could for the kids, and now all that is gone.
I know you've checked with your insurance company. You said your insurance company will not cover you for this type of damage. Do you have plans?
No, we don't have any plans. Right now, we're just going to have to live from day to day.
And I know certainly that you are so thankful you had that ladder there. Your entire family got out safely. I know you have to feel some gratitude, at least for your lives at this point, given the unbelievable conditions you all had to suffer through to get out.
Yeah, we did. You know what? I have to be grateful that my kids are out alive and well. I thank God for that. And the whole neighborhood around us and my family, they were here with us within seconds, and I got to thank them for all that they did for us. So I give thanks to everybody.
Well, Karen Hernandez, we certainly wish you the best in these really difficult days, and we are too so happy that you all were able to get out safely. We wish the best for you moving forward. Karen Hernandez, thanks.
Thank you.
God, your heart breaks for Karen and her family.
Oh my goodness, and not that that would ever be good timing to go through something like this, but especially just days before Christmas.
You have to be able to grab some small positive thing out of this. And again, she, her family is safe. That ladder, I mean,
imagine if that hadn't been there. And how many of us have that in our homes?
Exactly right. Well, it may go out. I'll tell you. You think about that now. And again, our thoughts and prayers with Karen and her family and all the people out there who are suffering. Let's get a check of the morning's other top stories now. Carl Quintanilla is over at the news desk filling in for Ann. Carl, good morning for you.
Matt, Amy, good morning, and good morning, everybody. We have some breaking news this morning. There's been an explosion at the Swiss embassy in Rome. Reportedly, the blast went off when a package was opened. At least one person has been seriously injured. One of South Korea's largest ever live fire artillery drills is underway. Pyongyang responded that it's ready to use nuclear weapons to wage a, quote, holy war against the South. The Chicago Fire Department is mourning two of its own today after a roof collapsed on a flaming building, killing 2 in the line of duty and injuring 17 others. An election official is recommending that former White House Chief of Staff Rahm Emanuel be allowed to run for mayor of Chicago. Opponents say Emanuel does not meet a 1-year residency requirement for candidates. The United Nations is investigating the prison conditions of Bradley Manning, the Army private charged with leaking thousands of secret cables to WikiLeaks. Manning's supporters have equated his conditions with torture. The Pentagon denies that Manning is being mistreated. Secret Service agents in Texas were rattled overnight when a local man lost control of his vehicle and careened onto former President George W. Bush's lawn. The driver was briefly detained. No one was injured. And it's been 130 years, but the name Billy the Kid may finally be cleared. New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson could pardon the outlaw for killing a sheriff in 1878. Historic documents suggest the gunslinger was promised amnesty for the crime in exchange for testimony in another case. It is now 7:09. Back to Matt, Amy, and Stephanie.
All right, Carl, thank you very much. Stephanie is here because Al continues taking a little time off. Nice to have you here.
Yes, good to see you guys. Let's talk about what we'll see today and then through Christmas. We will see that storm system in the west finally give them a break into Southern California. It's now through the plains, but it's going to track eastbound and bring some of you a white Christmas. So on Christmas Eve, it's up and down the Mississippi River Valley, and then on Christmas Day, it's in the south where we will see that white stuff flying. Now, on Sunday, when you're traveling home, it could be bringing quite a mess to the East Coast. Matt, over to you.
All right, Stephanie, thank you. The Christmas rush kicks into high gear today. AAA expects an estimated 92 million Americans will travel at least 50 miles from home, most of those people by automobile. So what can you expect as you head out? NBC's Tom Costello has some insight on that. Tom, good morning to you.
Good morning. Expect higher gas prices. Nationwide, we're averaging $3 a gallon. That's up 40 cents from a year ago. You know, Hawaii and Alaska, they're always the most expensive, but in the lower 48, it's the coast. California right now, averaging $3.25 a gallon, and we've got New York right now averaging about $3.26 a gallon. Texas, it's going for $2.83 a gallon right now, and the cheapest gas in the country, Colorado, $2.74. If you're leaving home over the holidays, you'll be in good company. Of the 92 million Americans who are traveling, more than 85 million are driving, a little more than 1,000 miles on average. And gas prices are biting.
I was shocked when I see it took like $30 to fill like a regular small little car. Something that should be like under 20, it's like 30 bucks.
And as of today, traffic is going to start building on the nation's toll roads. On the East Coast, 12 million cars will travel New Jersey's Garden State Parkway over the break. The busiest day, December 30th, with 1.2 million cars. While out west, San Francisco's Bay Bridge is expecting 122,000 cars today, its busiest travel day. Meanwhile, just over 2.7 million Americans are taking to the skies, paying on average $400 for a round-trip ticket. At LaGuardia Airport, some passengers are already frustrated.
I think they're forgetting the fact that we're paying customers.
All the controversy we saw over Thanksgiving about TSA pat-downs and full-body scans seems to have died down in recent weeks.
We do things now that we could not have imagined doing just a few years ago, taking off our shoes, pouring our liquids into little tiny bottles before we get on an airplane. But travelers adjust. They're resilient.
And because we keep traveling, prices keep going up. A 3-diamond hotel is averaging $125 a night, $6 more than last year. So will Americans continue to leave home in 2011?
If we see consumer confidence continuing to rise and people feeling a little bit better about their financial situations, then I think you could possibly see more people looking to travel in 2011 than they did in 2010.
Back on the travel beat, we found a group of frequent flyers and their fearless leader all warming up for their round-the-world journey. The FAA says it's already cleared the big guy for his Friday night flight, though some of his reindeer may need an antler trim to improve their aerodynamics. Yeah, it's a real aerodynamic drag. It turns out also Santa's loaded up with GPS technology, so he's good to go, we're told, on the Friday night. A good thing he doesn't have to fly, Matt, because the airlines raked in $4 billion in fees for baggage fees and the like, and late change fees, and we're told those fees aren't going anywhere. Back to you.
25 bucks extra per gift for Santa. That would add up in a big hurry, Tom. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, big time.
It's 7:14. Once again, here's Amy.
Matt, thank you. President Obama arrived in Hawaii this morning to begin his Christmas vacation after leaving Washington on a high note. NBC's White House correspondent Savannah Guthrie is here with details. Savannah, good morning.
Good morning to you. Well, there are plenty of big fights ahead as Republicans gain power in Washington next year. But for now, after suffering the agony of defeat in the midterms, the White House is savoring the thrill of victory. The president today starts his 11-day vacation to Hawaii, leaving Washington with a string of bipartisan victories he was anxious to highlight.
A lot of folks in this town predicted that after the midterm elections, Washington would be headed for more partisanship and more gridlock. And instead, this has been a season of progress for the American people.
on measures for further reduction and limitation of strategic offensive arms.
On its final day, the Senate passed the president's #1 foreign policy objective, the New START arms reduction treaty with Russia. 13 Republicans broke ranks to support the agreement.
This is a good day. I am just overwhelmed. This is a very good day.
The president also signed into law the repeal of the ban on gays in the military.
I say to all Americans, gay or straight, who want nothing more than to defend this country in uniform, your country needs you, your country wants you, and we will be honored to welcome you into the ranks of the finest military the world has ever known.
But later, before reporters, the president acknowledged wrestling with his own position on gay marriage.
That my baseline is a strong civil union that provides them the protections and the legal rights that married couples have. But I recognize that from their perspective, it is not enough.
And coming down to the wire, Republicans and Democrats also reached a compromise to provide health benefits to 9/11 first responders who became ill from working at Ground Zero.
This is a proud day. A proud day for everyone who's been involved in this effort and for everyone who bears the title Citizen of the USA.
Well, the president will spend the next 11 days in Hawaii. He's going to get briefings every day, but this is supposed to be R&R. In the meantime, aides are already at work on the State of the Union speech for early next year. Matt?
All right, Savannah, thanks very much. Rachel Maddow is the host of The Rachel Maddow Show on MSNBC. Good morning. Happy holidays. It's halftime. All right, it's the end of the first half of the president's, we don't know if it's his first term or last term, but good couple of weeks. Consider, though, what happened before those couple of weeks. How would you rate the first 2 years?
I think that if you look at what the president wanted to accomplish legislatively, not the not the big I want to transform the nation stuff, but legislatively what he wanted, I think he's about 85% of the way through what he said he wanted to do.
What were the big failures?
The big failures are stuff that he says he's still working on. Immigration reform, energy reform, closing Guantanamo, and actually getting rid of those Bush tax cuts that were just extended in this deal with Republicans.
Yeah, I mean, we remember on the campaign, and we saw him in just about every appearance he made during the campaign 2 years ago. He said he wanted to get rid of those tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans. And whatever you want to call the bill that was passed last week, the compromise or whatever, he failed to accomplish that.
Well, yeah. And the president, what's interesting about it is that the president never said he changed his mind about it. He said he would still love to have gotten rid of them. He just wasn't able to pull that off in his negotiations with Republicans. And that's why I think at the base and a lot of his supporters were very worried after that deal. I talked about it with Meredith here. The idea that the president wasn't changing his mind about what he wanted, but maybe he wasn't powerful enough, agile enough to get what he wanted. Then we had the lame duck session where it was just like the to-do list just got things checked off every single day, it felt like.
So we're talking about legislative accomplishments and failures. Let's talk about a more difficult thing to get your arms around, this hope and change message that he ran on. To quote a famous former Alaska governor, how's that hopey changey stuff working out for you? How is the tone in Washington different, or how is it the same?
I think that one thing that was really instructive about this was the way the White House handled the Don't Ask, Don't Tell signing ceremony yesterday. They didn't hold that at the White House. They held it in an auditorium at the Interior Department to accommodate all of the people who wanted to be there, to quite literally cheer the president while he did it, and to take some credit themselves for having been part of it. And to see the president almost elated at that event, smacking the desk and saying, this is done. Yes, we did. And to see them trying to bring so many people into that, get coverage from it, make it a real event, make the president give a real speech. I think they're trying to reconnect his presidency to the narrative that made people want to elect him in the first place.
To connect to the base, and you think that issue may do it better than some other issues of the past?
Well, it's definitely an issue that will make the base happy. But you know what? 65 Senate votes passed the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And there were a ton of Republican senators who voted for the START treaty, for example. Part of his message was that there's not going to be bad guys here. A lot of people in the base, I would say myself included as a very staunch liberal, really wanted him to take apart republicanism, to take apart conservatism, to go after them. He never wanted to pursue it that way. He said, we have common ground and we can move forward and move the country forward without being divisive. And the Don't Ask, Don't Tell fight, START fight, some of these other things are the way that he wants to move forward with Republican support on common ground.
And we will see what happens when the new year is upon us.
Rachel
Maddow, happy holidays.
Thanks a lot, Matt.
Thanks for coming in this morning. It's 19 minutes after the hour. Of course, you can catch Rachel's show weeknights at 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific time on MSNBC. Let's go over to Amy.
Matt, thank you. There is new fallout over the latest accident during a performance of the Broadway show Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. Actors from the show are now speaking out as other Broadway performers call for Spider-Man to close. NBC's Jeff Rawson is at the Foxwoods Theater in Times Square. Jeff, good morning.
Hey, Amy, good morning to you. Yeah, big problems. As you know, this is a big production, a big show, and so you expect issues along the way, but nothing like this. If you think about it, you have 4 actors who have already been injured. One of them remains in the hospital this morning. It's gotten so bad, city, state, and federal investigators came here to the theater to check around, and last night's show ended up getting canceled because of it. And now some famous Broadway actors, Amy, are taking it even a step further, saying Spider-Man should be shut down for good because it's too dangerous.
The stars of Spider-Man took to Broadway Wednesday night on the sidewalk, signing autographs and taking pictures for disappointed fans.
Refunding tickets over here!
Wednesday night's performance was abruptly canceled just hours before curtain up.
We did ask for a refund because now I don't even know if the show's going to go on.
4 people now injured. It is a mess.
At a performance this week, Spidey's stuntman fell 30 feet and tumbled headfirst into the orchestra pit. His safety rope snapped. His name is Christopher Tierney, now in a Manhattan hospital with broken ribs and internal bleeding. During rehearsals, another actor broke his foot in a stunt. In October, yet another actor broke his wrists. And in November, an actress suffered a concussion when a cable hit her in the head. Reeve Carney plays Spider-Man himself and defended the show.
Do you feel safe on the set? I do feel safe. It was an unfortunate event the other night, but the safety precautions have gone up even more since then, and I've always felt safe.
Patrick Page plays the Green Goblin.
The injuries in our show are a terrible thing, and no one wants to discount that at all. But injuries in a big show are something that happens.
But some Broadway actors want Spider-Man shut down now. The star of Next to Normal tweeted, "Does someone have to die? Spider-Man should be ashamed of itself." The star of Rent took to Facebook, calling Spider-Man a steaming pile of actor-crippling expletive.
I've been covering Broadway for 20 years, and this is the biggest train wreck I have ever seen. If there's another injury, this show is really finished, I think.
The Department of Labor has descended on the Foxwoods Theater, checking for possible violations. Wednesday, inspectors and the producers worked together, making changes to the show to improve safety. There's a lot at stake. Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark is the most expensive Broadway show ever at $65 million, with music from U2's Bono.
I think you're going to see a lot of very tentative, very scared actors doing stuff that they don't feel is safe.
The next performance is scheduled for tonight. Producers assure us it's going to go on as scheduled, but as we saw last time, Amy, they canceled it just 2 hours before. So I bought you some tickets. We'll see if you have to get down here later.
All right, I'll get in line. Jeff Rawson, thank you.
Yeah.
Coming up, the head coach of the New York Jets caught in a controversy over personal videos posted online. We have details, but first, this is Today on NBC.
7:30 now on a Thursday morning. It's the 23rd of December, 2010. Christmas arrives just 2 days from now, and we're happy to have so many people spending part of their holiday season with us here in Rockefeller Plaza. We'll get outside and say hi to them in just a little while. Meanwhile, inside Studio 1A, I'm Matt Lauer, along with Amy Robach, who's filling in for Meredith. Good to have you here this morning.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. And coming up in this half hour, what sounds like the dream of just about every child. I know my children would love this.
That's right. A school in Florida where there are no rules. Kids come and go as they please and do homework if they want to. But is that such a good idea? Plus a holiday treat for some deserving military moms-to-be, and they have no idea what's coming.
Yeah, it's at Fort Drum, and it's going to be a great morning for those people. But let's begin this half hour with the personal online videos that have the typically outspoken head coach of the New York Jets suddenly pretty silent. NBC's Ron Allen has that story.
Oh, you don't have to put your feet in. You can leave them out.
The videos have exploded across the internet. A woman in a car, a man, you can only hear his voice, behind the video camera. It's all very playful. Their conversation all about her feet.
Do you mind if I touch them?
There are more scenes of the woman alone, the focus always on her feet.
It certainly sounds like what we're seeing here is a foot fetish. We all want to know what goes on behind closed doors, especially when it has to do with sexuality. And we like the idea of catching someone when they don't know that they're being caught.
The videos were revealed by Deadspin, a sports blog. Its editors say they came from YouTube, and a tipster told them the woman resembled this person, Michelle Ryan, and the man's voice sounded a lot like her husband, Rex Ryan, the popular and colorful coach of the New York Jets football team.
Oh, wow, they're like really soft.
I've never seen anything like that, and it was uncomfortable to watch. It didn't take a lot of, due diligence on our part to kind of, put everything together.
NBC News has not independently confirmed the Ryans made the videos. It's front page news in New York. At his daily football news conference Wednesday, Coach Ryan was asked about the videos again and again.
Mr. Ryan, did you and your wife make the foot fetish videos?
Well, this is a personal matter, and I'm not going to discuss it. This is a personal matter. This is a personal matter. It's personal. It's a personal matter.
Ryan never denied the videos were him and his wife.
I'm going to get asked this question front way, sideways, back way, all this. It is a personal matter.
This, of course, is not the first time a public figure's private life has gone viral. The cyber world is often abuzz with video that prominent people might have wanted to keep to themselves.
Whatever your habits are, keep them as private as possible, because, once they get public, they're going to get really public very quickly.
The digital world's prying eyes are always watching.
You're so hot.
On these latest videos, the team is standing by its head coach. In a statement echoing Ryan, saying, "This is a personal matter."
My wife's beautiful. She's been married for 23 years, and she's awesome.
For today, Ron Allen, NBC News, New York.
We're going to switch gears now and get a check of the weather from Stephanie Abrams, who is in for Al. Steph?
It's always fun to get a surprise, especially on Christmas or during the holidays. Well, look at this one here. What do you have to tell Mom?
Mom, we're getting married.
Is Mom going to be happy about this?
Yes.
Yes, very happy. Well, congratulations to you guys. And then your sister here, the flower girl. You're never too old to be a flower girl, right?
Hey.
Never. All right, congratulations to you guys. Let's have a look at where we are going to see beautiful weather here for a wedding. If you're getting married today, that's in the south. Plenty of sunshine there. Our storm system will bring rain and snow to the west today. Amy, over to you.
Next, does it promote creativity or chaos? The school with no teachers and no tests. Right after this.
The teacher is teaching the golden rule.
We're back now at 7:45 with a new school in Florida that's unlike any of the others. It's because it's run not by adults, but by the kids who go there. NBC's Kerry Sanders checked it out. Kerry, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Matt. When you think about a traditional school, this is sort of what comes to mind. The desks where the kids sit, the teacher up front, maybe holding up a flashcard like this. But what if you took all of this away, got rid of the desks, got rid of the blackboards, got rid of the teachers? Would it still be a place of learning? You decide.
Nobody can catch me.
It's the school you may have wanted when you were a kid. No teachers, no curriculum, no homework. In South Florida, the Sunset Sudbury School is in session. Kids show up when they like, go home when they like. And the parents say it's exactly what they want.
What I feel like I'm doing by putting him here is he's becoming an individual.
You're bucking tradition.
Yeah. But look at me.
Heather Almasri, mother of two, daughters Mimi and Rio.
When people say to you, this sounds like something from the 60s, which it is, and it's kind of a hippy-dippy sort of thing,
yes.
And then, no disrespect, you're sitting here with the purple hair and everything. Do the puzzle pieces fit there?
Yeah, that's for sure.
But before you jump to conclusions, what sold you on this?
I had children. I had my daughter.
Consider who some of the parents are.
I'm an engineer. I graduated from MIT.
You worked at?
Ford.
And?
Microsoft.
And?
Boeing.
All places where Deanna Kendis says she saw high-tech jobs farmed out to places like India.
I love birds. Yes, you do. You love butterflies.
The winners in tomorrow's American business world, she believes, the creatives.
So you think this is fostering that free spirit?
Definitely, definitely. I see it every day.
These are popcorn leaves.
They're what?
Popcorn leaves.
Do they smell?
Yeah. Smell like popcorn.
Popcorn.
The philosophy here, kids learn by discovery.
What powerful reptile is found in the Sydney Opera House?
No idea.
The Lizard of Oz.
And as we saw, that curiosity includes reading.
Well, there you go. You have to pull them off.
But at times, it's also chaos.
What do you make of what they're doing?
It seems to me like this is a bit of homeschooling mixed with a little anarchy.
Education expert Melanie Kevorkian fears what could happen when a child is never tested.
If they're never judged, if they never have any way of knowing how good they're doing, then how do we get their potential?
There are 24 of these so-called Sudbury schools nationwide, a concept that's been around since the 60s, which means there are graduates.
We found 22-year-old Sudbury graduate Grace Miller, juggling college studies and her own cleaning business.
When I went into an untraditional experience, I figured out what I really wanted to do, figured out who I wanted to be and how I could achieve that.
I'd like to propose a rule.
School rules are set
that we
by democratic vote.
Don't pee in the garden.
Break a rule, and there are consequences. In this case, the students voted to sentence the offender, 4-year-old Julian, to clean up. Then, all the other students pitched in anyway.
It's what happens over time that's really going to tell the story.
Cleanup area. Yes, we do.
And for these kids' parents who know there are no do-overs, this is an education for life.
Bye.
So there are no tests, no grades, and after 12 years, there is no high school diploma. All the kids can get a GED if they take that test, and then they can take the SAT, the ACT, and go to college, as we saw one of the students. Matt, interestingly, they do stick to that democratic model. They voted to let us come do this story.
All right, and clearly you won, Carrie. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Still ahead, a special holiday surprise for more than 100 military moms-to-be. But first, these messages.
Earlier this morning, we talked to Karen Hernandez, a mother who lost everything in a mudslide out in California just days before Christmas. Well, we're getting a lot of emails from viewers who want to help her and the other families out west. A little later this morning, we're going to post that information on our website, so be sure to check it out.
And it's nice that our viewers are being this caring and generous, especially during the holiday season. We appreciate that. Coming up, from Olympic triumphs to the raucous political season, we'll look back at the biggest newsmakers of 2010 and some people who touched our lives after your local news.